Welcome to It Had to Happen podcast, episode 4. We have that's 2. We have a special guest today. I told you I was having a guest. We have Miss Ronisha Nicole, period. So I will
Period.
let her introduce herself. I served in the military with her. She's a really, really good friend of mine. We are almost alike, but kind of not like alike, but that's good for a friendship because you need that diversity. So I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll begin. Oh, what am I supposed to I think she's a little nervous, but it's okay because this is what we need. This is what we need.
What am I supposed to
Stop
say?
yourself.
Hi. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Nicole. I'm ghetto. I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, it's not much to know about me other than I am who I am. I'm going to
You're a
be who I
veteran.
want to be. Yeah, I'm a disabled vet. Yeah. And
You
I'm a
have one
mommy.
son.
I have a
I was just
son.
yes. One son
And let
and
me
he
tell
is
you, I am a really,
handsome.
really, 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 really good friend. I will say that. I'm probably one of the most loyal people, the most down to earth, committed person that you will meet. And I stand firm on that.
Absolutely. I can attest to that personally. I can absolutely attest to
Yeah.
that. So I felt like it would be a good she would be a good person to be my first guest because believe it or not, I used to have a YouTube channel where I was just like doing stuff because I had no
Eating.
idea.
Eating.
I had no idea what I was gonna do when I got out of the military. So we kind of just like were making videos and stuff like that. But then I got
Yeah.
lazy because YouTube is a lot. But we also were getting out of the military almost at the same time and kind of experiencing almost the same type of issues,
We
honestly.
actually was going through the process together, actually.
Yeah. I think I got out a few weeks,
A few
maybe like a
weeks
few
before me.
before. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
we kind of were just trying to figure it out, but I kind of wanted to base this episode. I was going to base it on friendship, but I think that I'm going to base it on I'm going to try to incorporate the military, but I'm also going to try to incorporate um how do you adjust and where does that kind of leave you? So like coming out of the military, now you're a civilian. It's been a couple years. And I like touch on this a little bit, but I feel like it's always important to hear, first of all, from a female veteran because period. And then second of all, just somebody who's a disabled veteran like myself, that can attest to not looking like we're a disabled veteran, but absolutely go through all types of stuff. So I kind of just
Absolutely.
wanted to touch on that because I feel like it's hard. There's a lot of things that like people they're like, oh, you got out of the military, you should be living life, and we're like,
It's not that. It's so much that entails in that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But I feel
yeah,
you though, because I'm tired of the old people looking crazy when I'm parking in handicap.
because I'm
And
a
then
parking handicap.
they looking like I'm not supposed to be there. Like I work for my disability just like you work for yours. Age
Not
just
you work
gave
for
you
the
your
disability,
sticker quicker.
right? No, for
And that
sure,
ain't got
it
nothing to
is.
do with me.
So
Take that up with God.
So I will say that is an interesting topic though. Whenever so as a disabled veteran, depending on what percentage you have the capability of parking in a handicapped parking spot because,
Yeah.
you're handicapped essentially. And so a lot of times people will look at you because you're supposed to look handicapped or obviously they don't know your health history, so they are gonna judge
Yeah.
off the bat. Right. And
Ooh, that's
so
another topic for another day.
they're going
Ooh,
to
child.
assume that you're supposed to look a certain way or assume that you're supposed to, get out of the car hanging off walking with a limp. Like,
With your
our
cane, girl. With your cane.
right with the cane. Like, I do sometimes feel some type of way about that because I just feel like whenever you don't want to put your health on, front street, you don't want to tell people your business, but it's almost like you have to get people to understand. But I'm not going to say too much about yours, but I know with mine,
Says
what?
says who? Cause I ain't
Says what?
explaining nothing to nobody.
Well, I
Girl.
wouldn't say I don't
I
feel the
tell
need
them,
to have to
fight me over that
explain.
spot. Fight me.
This you see, this is what I have to deal with. I'm telling you. This is what I have to deal with. But this is her. This is her.
It's me.
But as far as when you were about to get out of the military, so right, we knew that we were going to get a disability check. We knew that we were going to have some type of income. But even with that in mind, what were some of what was the anxiety like, like leading up to it, especially having a kid, not really.
So for me, it was different. It was very much different because, I stand firm on my family has been built based upon my family that I've built in the military. I do not
Mm,
come from a village. I don't.
yeah,
You notice, like, in that moment, you and your ex was a part of my village,
yeah,
like through sickness, through mental health, through all of that. Like, you guys were the one who was kind of like backing me with pretty much like everything. And so when I was going through the process of med boarding, I started to fight it because of the anxiety of being afraid of what is next. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to pay me. I'm already struggling in the military while I was single and while I was married. I was struggling. And so I
okay,
had to think about it like my foundation of my marriage is built on nothing.
yeah,
And so essentially it's me and my son. What am I going to do? So I started to get like really bad anxiety about that and fight it. And then I had a homegirl who told me pretty much like, hey, I contract. This is what I do. I knew nothing about any of that. And she basically like put me on and told me like, hey, if you go on this website, clearancejobs.com,
yeah,
and you look up, you know how like the civilian to military, you have to like translate everything. But she's like,
yeah,
basically what we're doing is supply because I was a 92 Alpha. So she's like, hey,
yeah,
just look up this and you'll see like different jobs and stuff like that. And that's how I came on my first gig with Germany. So I was so paranoid and everything. Remind you, this is 10 years, including like a break of me being in the military, then out the military, and then back in the military. And so I
yeah.
don't know how a job interview is going to go. I don't know
That's
if I'm supposed to, most of the time they say when you go to a job interview, you have to sell yourself. I'm not knowing how I'm supposed to go in there. Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to be?
yeah.
I can turn on and I can turn off, but
That's real.
it's
That's
like
real.
I didn't know. But then it's like, okay, after my Pueblo told me, like, don't fight it, you're going to guarantee get 100%.
Yeah,
Then that gave me even more anxiety because, okay, I'm applying for these jobs. I had like 3 months before it was time for me to get out the military. And
yeah,
so I'm like, essentially, I'm going to be homeless. I
yeah,
cannot live with other people. I just can't live with other people. Like, it just comes with so much with living other people, obligations, expectations, and all
yeah.
of this other stuff. So it's like, oh, I have to think of something quick. I have to really like think of something quick. I need to be quick on my feet because it'll be different if it was just me. I can go and lay on
Right.
someone's couch for a couple of months and put myself back on and until I get on my feet. But no, I
But
have
you
a,
got your
a tiny
kid.
person
Yeah.
that I have to provide for and that solely depends on me. So yeah, I ended up getting a gig in Germany, and I'm like, that literally like took the biggest like off
Yeah.
of me, knowing that I got this job. And let's speak about the interview because when I went initially for the interview of this job in Germany, it was not typical interview. Like, my manager, the hiring manager, which was going to be my manager, pretty much like told me like, you don't have to sell yourself to me. Your resume speak for itself. What I
Mm.
need from you is because what the skill set and the knowledge that you have is something that we're switching systems. And so we're going from some system. He said they was going from some system to GCS,
Mm.
which is our supply system or whatever. He's like, you have it, so I really need you here, and
Yeah.
I need you to teach these people that. So it's like,
So it
that
really
was
didn't
just
matter
like, No,
what
it
you
really didn't even
yeah.
matter. Like I didn't even really have to say much. It was pretty much like a casual conversation. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, perfect. That took a lot of anxiety, like off of me because I know I wouldn't have been homeless. I could have came stay with you.
Yeah, right.
But
Period.
it's just
Wherever
a
I was
principle
at.
of that, like once you develop yourself and you've become accustomed to certain things, like yes, you have these people and you have these things in place, but still, like
Yeah.
it's just not like a comfortable thing. Like I just didn't want to have to do that, but just knowing like, okay, 3 months prior, like they're waiting for me. I postponed my start date with this company for like 2 months
Yeah.
because I could not work until I had a DD 214.
Right.
And so just knowing that just took like a huge weight off of me with that. That process is the most annoying process ever. I say that's 10 times more stress,
Yeah.
from just being a soldier to
Well,
having
and
to do
then
that.
because I feel like a lot of stuff was done for us too, whether we want to admit it or not. There was a lot of things that were done that we really didn't have to take care of. Like, yeah, we had to, our process. Yeah, we had to, make sure, but where we live at, how we're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
All
it's
that
like a
stuff was taken
given.
care
It's
of.
given to you. Yeah,
Yeah, you didn't have to apply for an apartment. I was so stressed trying to apply for these apartments. I'm like,
I
you have
know.
to make how much times the
I
rent? That
know.
doesn't even make any sense. One plus one does not equal two.
I know.
And two plus two definitely
Yeah.
don't equal 3,000. So it don't make sense. It wasn't making
Yeah,
sense.
because
And then the
and you know
interview,
what? It was not until I got that contracting job that I realized how underpaid the military is. With this
yeah,
job, I touched my first six figures in less than 6 months.
yeah, yeah.
Being in the military, you live paycheck to paycheck. I don't care what no
Man,
one say.
listen, talk
And
about
if you
it.
ain't
I don't
living
care how much
paycheck to
money you
paycheck, you
say.
got a side hustle and you doing some other things, and that ain't got
Man,
nothing to do with me. More power to you. But it wasn't
yeah,
until then I'm like, I'm doing the same thing that I did in the army as
yeah,
a civilian, and in
yeah,
6 months I have touched six figures. It's crazy. So
yeah.
I think that's another thing the government need to look at because you are underpaying these people that's essentially putting their life on the line and risking their lives for a country that could give two about them. Honestly, let's be real.
Yeah,
Like
not for sure. No, but I think that they actually did just get a really decent pay increase,
for how
like
long?
crazy pay
For how
increase.
long?
Like,
For how long?
no, I think it was like a year ago. I swear, I think like a E1 makes like almost 900. It's something crazy because when I heard it, I was like, when I was at E1, I was living off of like $400, bro. Like
But
that
you came
wasn't.
in old army because as an E1, I was at almost about that same. I was making $1,600 a month.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to be looked at, but I can definitely attest to the anxiety. Now, hear me out, and I've mentioned this before. I obviously was married, so I had somewhere to go.
Oh, don't put that
I
title on me, girl.
I had somewhere for me and my daughter, but I actually got divorced shortly after that. Don't mind that she does have a child, so if you hear a
And you know how
baby,
kids are. They wait till
he's
you
the
get on the phone or they wait
or
until you doing something. I
yeah.
thirsty. You ain't
Listen,
thirsty. You
this is
nosy.
very transparent, okay? We ain't finna cut none of this out because this is
No.
real life,
You're
okay?
gonna
The
get
only
some
reason why my kid
water.
ain't here is because she with her ugly daddy. So but yeah, so okay, so we touched on that. So you got out of the military. I would say my issue was when I got out of the military, I jumped right into work, which you did as well, right? So, but I feel like some people, I almost regret it. And I will tell you why. Because I didn't get a chance to kind of enjoy. I didn't get a chance to like adjust properly, I don't feel. Like I went right into work to almost like trick myself into like not thinking about what was going
It
on.
was a
I felt out of
distraction.
place.
It was a
Exactly.
distraction.
See?
And that's
There was
I
nothing but a distraction.
listen, I struggled so hard when I got out the military and I went straight into working because for one I got a potty mouth.
Yes.
And I can cuss you out and you're still gonna do your job and everything is
Yeah.
still gonna be okay.
Yeah.
In the civilian world, girl, you cuss at somebody, they going to HR.
You out of there. Listen, I quit a job because I was so nervous. I
I'm
quit a
like,
job. Now,
say,
this was back when my mouth was, a little more I
filthy.
cussed a little bit. And so I was really bad. It was really bad.
That
But
was your
I don't
favorite cuss word. The
it was. I don't see you see growth. You see? Remember we was talking about? But
okay,
yeah,
you've
it
been
just
drinking enough water.
I had to think about I really had to think about that because I only had a job on my resume. One job.
You
If
can
I
go
get
the other
fired
way.
from
You don't
this
have to bring
job,
that water in here. Why you being so extra? You don't know? It's okay because when that 7 o'clock hit, you're going to be upset because you're still getting up and you're still going to school, brother. Good night. I love you. Sweet dreams.
no, brother. But yeah. So I did have another question though. Drum roll. Do you feel like being in the military makes you feel as though you should be married?
I say no
Oh,
because anybody that's in the military know. For one, most people get married because they don't want to live in the barracks. They
right,
don't want to live in the projects because military housing for the soldiers look like the hood. For one. For
right,
two, most people get married in the military to follow each other. MACP.
true.
But
I can attest to that.
I feel like I'm like straddling the fence on that because it's like a half and a half. And when you're married, you do get more benefits on money wise. You know, one get full pay BAH, and then the other one get
It's
the
easier.
independent rate. But it's like once you know how people in the military ain't. So it's like, why even waste your time on that? Like, be for real. Like, people in the military ain't. And
Yeah,
so, you know, it's, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that are in the military just jumped off the porch and they ain't really been through nothing in life and they haven't really like experienced much. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are sheltered, so they're easily to be persuaded. They ain't
yeah,
really like experienced. So when they're joining the military, they just all wide and outside.
yeah. But that's what
And
they're joining for, though, for the
yeah, but
experience.
I feel like, I just stand on I feel like they do, but I feel like they don't. I just
Right.
feel like it depends on the person and their mindset
Yeah,
and, just that overall. Because everybody will
yeah.
tell you military women and men ain't
So
the hell.
I would definitely say us included. But at
Well,
the
I
time.
can't speak for you, but I can speak for me. I'm a good woman. He's a good man, Savannah.
Not for real. Listen, it's a horrible stereotype, but we don't ever beat the allegations. Like, we're not in anymore.
That shit the trial.
We were never beating it. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's a coping mechanism. I think a lot of people cheat. They do. But it's rough. It's rough. I feel like a lot of people don't realize the mental capacity you have to
It's
serve.
hard. It's not even just the mental capacity of being in the military. Being in the military and being married is really, really, really hard. Look at how your schedule was. Like, bro, most of the
16-hour
time y'all would be
days.
together, but somebody's here before the other one. Somebody's leaving before the other one.
Yeah.
One's here, one's there. Like, it's
Yeah.
hard. It's
That I feel like there were some times where I don't even realize, like when I looked up and realized like we were married for 7 years, I was like, where did the time go? Like
the
we
time
see each
went to
other in
them
the morning.
cookouts, them parties, them kickbacks, and them
Not
game
for sure.
nights.
But that was like after a 16-hour day. We wake up, it's dark outside, you get home, it's
Yeah.
dark outside, Nala then came and went from school. Like you
Yeah.
just it's just you're just in a routine. A long routine, obviously.
It's
But I
numbing.
mean it was
You
all
just get
good,
used to it.
You get used to it. And I feel
And
like
you know that check gonna hit on the 1st and the 15th every month, so you
every
don't
month,
even care.
every month, I'm telling you. And that's where you're like comfortable. You get comfortable and it's just like, nah, I think I can endure this, or "Nah, I'll be good another year or another 4 years, re-enlist again." I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, so as far as, so we kind of talked about that, and then I want to also ask another question,
Okay.
right? Hear me out.
I'm listening.
So when it comes to the civilian world, now your job, you're working with the military.
I work for the
You
military,
work
but
for
I
the
don't
military,
work with them.
contracted by the
Yeah.
military,
Yeah.
right? So still a civilian job then. So
Right.
as far as that goes, when it comes to your disability, how does that look? And I ask that because I feel like, I'll speak for myself, it's very unpredictable, right? Remember how we were talking about what it looks like and what people think you should look like? I'm walking around and I look just like this, and then the next day I can barely get out of bed. So I'm calling the work, and they like, "Dang, she was just fine yesterday. What you mean she, bedridden, went to the emergency room?" But I feel like I can't meet you halfway, or I can't feel a certain way when I have to call out. And there's like all things like FMLA and all of that. I don't agree with that. I just feel like, why do I have to wait a whole year
You do
with your
not. I
business?
feel like it depends on
The employer.
yes. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
am suffering from many different things, and my autoimmune issue that I have, which is EGPA, it targets my lung, right?
Yeah.
But that the EGPA and the severe urticaria that I have, and for the severe urticaria, it's like I don't know yet like what triggers me. For an
Right.
example, before I started taking medication for that, I could eat an apple and then 10 minutes later my lip is like Mr. Clumps.
Yeah.
And so being at
She's
my
not kidding.
job, no,
She's
like
not kidding.
seriously, like I could eat a bean and
Yeah.
now like I have hives that's covering me from my head to my feet. I thought I had
Yep.
psoriasis at one point, and it wasn't the psoriasis, it was the autoimmune issue and the urticaria that I had, which caused me like hot water could not touch my scalp. My scalp was peeling. It looked like I had psoriasis. Anything that touched my hair, from hair gel to water,
Yeah.
literally would send me on fire. So since I've been in Poland, right, I've had a couple episodes like what you said. You wake up today and you're perfectly fine, and
Yeah.
then I could be at work and now it looks like I have preeclampsia and I can't even walk on my feet because my
Mhm.
feet are so big. And with my job, you have to wear steel toe boots.
Yeah.
So just
And
imagine,
those are uncomfortable, by the way. Do
uncomfortable
not
as hell.
recommend.
So just imagine like what that feel like. But what I will say is like here, like in the civilian world, it all depends on the employer. I will speak
Yeah.
for the company that I work for because I've been working for them since I got out. It's a
Yeah.
hit and miss when it comes to HR. My HR in
Mhm.
Germany was trash.
Yeah.
My HR here in Poland was so understanding. Honestly, they don't care. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say like they don't care, but it's like in the military over certain time you get like you get leave days, right? And so
Yeah.
working in a civilian world as a civilian contractor, over time you get a
Sick
certain
time.
amount of hours. We don't get days, we
Oh.
get hours. And
Uh-huh.
so you like their policy for my company is you can call out sick for 3 days. Anything past that 3 days has to have a doctor's note.
Yeah.
They don't care that you call out as long as you have the time to cover it, because the government has paid the company for you in advance.
Yeah.
So anything that's gonna go through that, like LWAP or anything after that, has to be approved at a higher level. But like when I've had to call out because I was sick, I ain't gonna say too much. But my
Yeah.
supervisor, understanding and clutch.
Yeah.
My manager, she was a weird, but
Oh,
my supervisor was like super understanding, and they were like very accommodating. To me, they visibly was able to see. They knew
yeah.
what was happening. Like me,
But you
I'm
shouldn't
all
even have
about
to
my
show that.
no, but I'm
You shouldn't
about
even have
my
to show it.
money. No, I didn't have to
Yeah.
show it. But if I come into work at I'm working here in Poland, I was working from 6:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night. And so if I'm coming into work at 6:30 and by
Yeah.
8 o'clock my lips look like I've been suctioning my lips all night, and my face
Yeah.
is like swollen from the lip up,
Yeah.
something is wrong. But
Yeah.
it's very different. It's
It depends
I
on the
It all depends on the employer, because some of
yeah.
them can be sticklers and work, 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 work. I would say
Yeah.
here with my job in Poland, they would say health first. They're big
Take care of
on
yourself.
taking care of
Hello.
yourself, something that the military did not care about.
Hello. Because my thing is, if you want me at my best, you have to allow me to take care of myself. Now, I will say, there are also, I'm sure that there are supervisors that are like, got PTSD, like, yeah, somebody,
Yeah.
definitely was playing the system. And that's nothing to do with me, though.
No,
That's nothing to do with me.
that's
And
your
so
problem,
that's where, like,
not
I'm
mine.
battling because why do I have to wait a whole year to
I
take
feel
time
like that
off
depends on the
unpaid?
employer, because I, so, with my illness, I'm prone to respiratory infection.
Right.
I had only been working for my company 4 months. I
Well,
had only been working for them for 4 months. And because of my autoimmune issue, I don't know how I caught pneumonia, but I did.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they got short-term disability, long-term disability,
Yep.
FMLA. I had to go on short-term disability to just cover me, because
Yeah. So you want to lose your.
I was out of work for a month, and they still paid me 77% of my paycheck.
Yeah.
Um FMLA, I wouldn't have got paid nothing. So it
Yeah.
all depends on the company and the benefits, and what type
Yeah.
of packages that they have ultimately.
Yeah. I definitely yeah. I don't. It's just interesting to kind of see, and then I feel bad. Like, first of all, we're gonna adjust. What is this health insurance crap? I don't understand it. But you probably, so obviously you go through the VA for your stuff, right?
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much like, and I'll explain for people who don't know. So when you're med board from the military and you are 100%, honestly, if you're not 100%, I feel like it's some type of percent, but we are 100% disabled, which means that the military, well, the VA will pay for our health care for the rest of our lives. Right. Now, with that being said, the VA is overcrowded. It is,
Community
it's
care.
just
Community care.
community
Send me
care,
to
right?
me the community, because
So, but
just
the
send
thing
me to the
about community
community.
care, community care, well, I'm in a small town. So
Oh,
community
so
care
that may
may
be
not
different for
be
you. The
any
best.
better than the VA. Like
Yeah.
it's hit or miss. And so then I'm dependent on the health care that I have from my job. What is the deductible, baby? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know about a copay. I don't understand how that works. Why do I have to
Yeah.
spend $10,000 to not have to pay? That doesn't make sense to me. And they are scamming y'all civilians, and I hate that for y'all. But I will, I use this moment to just say that I'm thankful. But I don't know what I would do. I don't know how many times I've been to the ER, how much medicine I take daily.
Yeah.
Like people actually have to pay for prescriptions. What? Baby, that is beyond me. I just got four in the mail just now. Like, packing the mail, it is gone, okay? Got it in the mail, baby. But I don't know. It is it is very difficult. It is very ghetto, and I do not recommend. But
I need to
everybody needs
turn
health
these
care.
lights out.
because you never know, what you'll need or like what'll come up or whatever the case may be. Um, so I'm gonna flip the script. Do you have any questions for me? All right, well that's great. We can wrap it up now. You have none. I've been harping on in the other episodes how having a good support system matters. So like you kind of said like earlier, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but having a good support system, period, I think makes a difference. Whether when I was transitioning, when I couldn't figure out what I want to do with my life, I've had a support system the whole time. My support system just fell apart in the middle of me figuring it out. So, but how important is it to you to have a good support system, or do you solely depend on yourself
I would
when it comes time like
say,
that?
like now, I solely depend on myself.
Because of
People are just not reliable and dependable because people will tell you like, I'm here for you,
yeah,
and they will express that. But when it's time to deal with that, it's
they're
always a
nowhere to be
hidden
found.
agenda. And I will say, I'll use this for an example. There's been times where I had to go to the field, we'll say like Mountain Peak or something like that.
Yeah,
And I just felt like with you being my support system, you shouldn't be expecting a payment from me.
right.
Like, it allowed me the opportunity to want to do that.
To offer.
If exactly, like,
Yeah,
I'm fine with if I have to go to the field for 30 days or whatever, I'm completely fine with providing because I'm not there,
right.
but I'm not providing for you to support me when this is something you extended your hand. You extended your
Mm.
hand and you told me you were going to be here for me. I know that money that I'm about to give you not about to go to my kid.
Ooh.
So if I have to go to the field ultimately and you agree to be on my family care plan to provide for my son in a situation where I have to be deployed or I have to go to the field, I'm gonna make sure that my son got the things that he want and he got the things that he need.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure, how our kids are, they're specific. They're used to certain things. So I'm
yeah,
gonna make sure like my son has the food he like, the snacks he like, the toys he like, things that he enjoyed to make him comfortable, meanwhile he's not at home. While I am
right.
not there to solely be there for him. Um but yeah, I just feel like a lot of people have this thing in their mind that everyone in the military is rich when we're really not. And so it's like everybody always got their hand out. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
You
Now
know,
you got
if
it.
you're going to
Now you
be
can
here
take
for
care of
me,
it.
be there for
Yeah.
me, but don't be expecting like you're not watching my son as a favor. You're
Yeah.
watching my son because you committed to this when I committed to give my life to the government for how many years
Yeah.
to fight for this country.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
it's
it though. When you said that, do not have your hand out when you extended it. Baby, that is a I don't even that
because
is
that's what they do. I was in a situation like that. I had to go to the field and it was, well, what are you paying me? Well, I didn't know I was paying you anything when I'm making sure that my son has everything. You don't even have to buy groceries because guess what? I'm going to bring the groceries to you.
right.
It was like everybody just always want something. People don't really be genuine. People don't really be doing things for the right reason.
So
But
can you say now as a civilian, how has that changed?
nothing.
Okay, look. I was about to say don't lie. Don't get over there
No,
and lie, cause
seriously. Like nothing has changed. And I say that to say, let me story time. No, story time, right? So just a little situation. Like I had this person that I was like super cool with or whatever. And when I was leaving to go to Poland, that's where my son had went to another state with this person. This has been a trusted person that has been in my life since 2016.
Mhm.
And so this person agreed to like watch my son for me for a short period of time, at least until I got to Poland, got established, found a place, and was able to bring my son back to me. And it didn't last
Mm.
because then this person, and for one, I'll say, like, I'm not oblivious to anything, and I know how to differentiate friendships and personal relationships. And I just feel like with
Yeah.
some people, it doesn't have anything to do with like what you look like, or if you're the type of person that I would go for, or anything like that. I value my friendships more than I value anything beyond that. And so
Right.
this person tried to use my son. Reminds you, 2016 is just 2015. I'm at 2025. This has been somebody who, when I was a stripper, come pick me up from the club. This is
Yeah.
somebody, when I needed to get away, they was there for me. And I met them during my break of the military, like during my little disconnected time. This is when I met them. But when my son went there or whatever, this person started like confessing their love for me, and they felt a certain type of way because my son was speaking about someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now this person is upset with me. Well, you knew that you was in a friend zone from the beginning, homegirl. You
Mm.
knew that you did not have a chance with me. So you only took my son and agreed to help me out, thinking that it was going to get you closer to me.
Right. And
So,
so when it didn't work, they were like,
so
"Nah,
when
come
it
get your
didn't
kid."
work, it was, oh, you have to come and get him, which is fine. I ended up hitting up my cousin, and my cousin ended up keeping him for me for like 2 months until then. But that was just an example of people and their motives, and people not genuinely doing. Maybe in the beginning it was, but like, it got weird because why are you worried about what I'm doing while I'm not with my son? Why are you worried about what's
Yeah.
going on and what I have going on and who I'm sleeping with or who I'm chilling with or anything like that has nothing to do
Right.
with you?
Well, because if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Do it
Like,
because you want
do it.
to.
Do it because you want to do it, or do it because you care for me. But don't do it and be like, "Okay, so now what?"
Right.
Okay, so that's yeah. I don't. I will say that there was a lot of people in the military that I'm like dead serious. I said on my first episode, I lit maybe first or second, but I left the military with one friend, like maybe two. Cedra's a friend. I
Yeah.
definitely
We
consider Cedra a
love
friend.
Cedra.
Yeah, Cedra's a friend. But that's like where it comes to the point where I probably wasn't the best friend at all times. That I could have been, and so I'm not good at keeping up with people. I don't. I get into my own whatever, and I just like zone everybody out. But I definitely get what you mean when you say that, and I think that is military and civilian world, because I done met
Yeah,
some people
nothing has
afterwards.
literally changed.
It's the same. They
I
all
I
want
still,
something.
yeah, I still
Yeah.
stand by myself. Like, no offense, I still stand by myself. Like, no one is going to be more dependable when it comes to my child other than myself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't depend on nobody. I don't know, I just feel so like isolated now because like I'm fine with where I am in life, but
Yeah.
I would just rather be alone and figure it out by myself.
Then
Because
have somebody
you
taking
have,
up space.
yeah, like you have all these people that will say they're here, but when the time comes and you need them to be here, like, where are you? Like,
Right. Because
yeah,
can't find
right,
you. Nowhere to be found.
right. And
Missing.
me being the type of person that I am, when a person need me, I'm literally dropping everything. I'll drop wherever I'm at, whatever I'm in the middle of. I'm going to be there for you because that's just the type of person that I am. And I've just had to come to realization and just accept, like, everybody is not you. Everybody is not like
Right.
you. Everybody's not going to be like you. Everybody's not going to show up in a way that you expect them to show up. Stop having expectations when it comes to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You can't. That's
That's
just
real
that.
though.
You cannot.
For you to, but I feel like that's big too though. Like, you noticing or you realizing that you can't expect you out of people. That's big. Because my thing is, you go through life and you're like, Not because I would do that for you. I wouldn't expect you to treat me like that.
Yeah.
Or I would never do you like that.
Ooh,
You have to, that's when you
girl.
just separate yourself. That's another episode, bro. That's another episode. No, that's another
Girl.
episode. Cause listen,
Girl.
it gets real.
It
People,
does.
I
It
don't,
does.
I keep the people around me very close, and I don't expand often because sometimes people misunderstand or misjudge or I would say take for granted my kindness. Right. I feel like after the military, I'm much more welcoming and I'm much more I feel like I can be addressed more. In the military, I didn't want you to walk up, but I don't walk up on me. Don't walk up to me. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk. Like what? But I feel like I was also angry in the military too, so I kind of had to let that go.
But you had
And
a
just
lot going on, like,
yeah,
let's just leave that
yeah,
where
I
it's
did
at. But
anyway.
I don't know,
Yeah,
like, I feel like I'm the same. I
yeah,
really do. I feel like nothing much has really like changed about me being outside of the military. Like, I'm still
yeah,
me. I just think that I'm a lot for people to digest, is
yeah.
what I
But
would
that's okay
say.
though.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not you, it's
Like,
them.
people, you know how I am. I'm
Yeah,
crazy. And I've always been crazy. And there's levels to this crazy. And you don't know who you're going to get or what you're going to get. It all just depends. But like, it's not much different. You know, it's about the vibe and what you feeling from like
yeah.
people, and like you kind of know once you start, but I still be looking
Yeah.
at people like,
But you realize that you don't have to be around them either, though. Like in the military, I feel like we were kind of not
you
really
were
forced.
forced to be around people, and you were forced not to be around people like that.
Yeah,
Oh, I couldn't hang out with you, or we couldn't eat chicken wings together
yeah.
because of what your rank
Right. I
was and what my
forgot
rank
about
was.
that, bro.
Girl, cause look,
Yeah.
I'm pulling up every day on 2 wheels. We've been in the corner going to your house, girl. Yeah, we getting
I'm
that.
outside. I don't
I
care
ain't
what
even
they
have
was
to tell
talking
you I'm
about.
outside. Ring that doorbell. Hi.
I
Yeah,
completely
cause I'm
forgot about
cooking
that.
them
They
neck
really hated
bones and
us.
them greens and that cornbread. Then the next day I'm making them crab legs. Not the crab legs, the crab legs. With that sauce, girl. You know I was obsessed with that sauce. Forget the crab legs, girl. We can eat the sauce and some shrimp and I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, not for real. I do need to run that back because I haven't. I don't even cook anymore. He cooks every day.
Oh, cause your arthritis.
No, because I don't want to cook. I'm chill. What? Look, he was like, "No, babe, I can cook." I'm like, I offer. I'm like, no, no. I mean, no, babe, it's okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
See,
You
that's
might
that.
gotta
That's
be
that.
submissive.
See, you took the words out of my mouth because that's that submissive type. Make me want to make sure I lick the floors clean before you come home. Because who? Yes, baby. Wait at the door. You ain't even got to come in. I'm taking your boots off on the porch. What are you saying?
Yeah,
Like, girl.
it's definitely different, but it's good. I know
It's
what you
the
mean when you say you're not different,
domestication for me. Y'all real domesticated over there.
bro. Chill out.
Meanwhile, I can't even.
Wait. Uh,
No.
no.
I
We
think
we I think
that.
what, bro? I'm leaving all of this in here. I just want to let you know.
And I'm fine with that.
I'll leave all of this. They're gonna be like, bro, they are crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah, but they gonna love
Why do you
us.
think they kept separating us?
No, I
This
don't
girl's only in
understand
Poland,
that.
bro. Like
I
what?
don't understand that. I don't understand that though. I'll say, like, just speaking on like the military thing or whatever.
It's intimidating.
You
We were
cannot. You
intimidating.
cannot. Like a lot of you can agree on this. A lot of people who were superior than we were have never been in a position of power.
Whoa, whoa.
They have never been in a position of power.
Yeah.
They got the power and they didn't know what to do with it, so they misuse it.
Yeah.
But overall, with whoever put that in the regulation or whatever, who are you to say that I cannot be friends with someone who holds a higher ranking than me?
Right. Especially if we can be professional.
Like, who
Like
came
you,
up with
you
that?
probably would
Because
never know
I
that we
was
hung
tired
out.
of having to come to work and be like, Sergeant Witt. Hello, Sergeant Whitaker. Hey, and I'm not standing that parade. Girl, stop.
Yeah, so y'all know she never followed the rules ever.
No,
Like
but I
ever.
couldn't be Witt. Is one thing. They knew I was the one, not the two. The one.
She absolutely went against the rules all the time.
I
But
did,
most
and I
times she
took
could
that
back it up
unit
though, which was
down
crazy.
and could, because that's what they hate. They do not like a colored who is educated and a female. That's a fact. That's a
A
fact.
colored is crazy. What in the world, bro? This is just
You know,
I
though, it's a
can't.
fact. It's true. They do not like
It is.
a colored that's
Yeah.
a female and who's
Not even
educated
then.
and knew
Oh, it
and
would tear him
know
up
her
every time.
regulations.
It
Like,
would tear him up every time. I
eat
don't
them
think
up.
anytime that I try to explain to people how hard it was being a female in the military and actually like standing your ground and like standing firm. You come in a room and like everybody looking at you like, dang, what you doing here? Do you know how many times I came to the motor pool and people would just look at me like I'm crazy? Yeah, I'm here to see first time. What's up? What? What?
Well,
Like what, bro? What?
we rarely ever like seen you though. You know,
Yeah.
you was
Yeah,
like
because I was handling business. If I came down to the company, I was handling business and I'm ready to go. I'm not down there playing.
the fuck.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. So, moral of the story: we're still the same people. I feel like we're the same people. I think we've grown a little bit, and we've learned to adult a little bit and realize that we can actually do some things
It's
on our
ghetto,
own.
and I wish I could sue my mom like that one girl did
Nope.
because
No. No. No.
no, I
No.
didn't ask to be here. I did not ask to be here. I did not ask to have to grow up and be an adult and pay bills and do all of this extra stuff. And you ain't even in my life, anyways.
I didn't ask to be here. It's crazy
I did
work.
not ask to be here.
I get it. I
I
get
didn't
that.
ask to be here, and now I'm here. And I have to be a grown up, and it's ghetto,
Right.
and I don't like it
Yes.
here. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. Like, I didn't ask to.
Responsibilities is crazy work.
It's ghetto. And then I done fucked around and had a kid. Girl, stop.
Okay, listen. So, if you can take one thing from this episode, what would you take?
What you mean?
If you wanted to, if you could take one thing from this episode, like to move forward with, or to that you've like that we've talked about, or that you've been thinking about, or just something that you want to push out in this episode for the listeners.
Yeah, I ain't taking nothing. Because it is what it is. It's that. But what I will say is for the people that are currently serving or the people who are experiencing like med board or whatever the case may be with them getting ready to like transition, it is greener on the other side, and it may be a little bit rough. You know what I'm saying?
Eventually.
Like, it's gonna be rough because the adjustment, that's like what we talked about in the beginning, like the adjustment from military to civilian, it's really hard. And if somebody tell you that it's not, they're
They're
lying.
lying. Okay.
And
A bunch
like,
of liars. Clowns.
I would say like too, like, I'm not saying like a person who does 3 years didn't experience nothing versus a person that's done 10 years. What I would say is that the military is really, really, really heavy on your mental health. And mental health
Yeah.
is really, really, really important. And so I would say whether you did 2 years or you did 6 years, like, I wouldn't recommend jumping out the military and going straight into something. I would say,
Yeah.
I know the situations is different for like everybody or whatever, but I would say take that time out to relearn yourself. Take
Mm.
that time out to focus on you and almost like reprogramming yourself and relearning yourself, because whether people want to admit it or not, when you get out the military and you become a civilian, you are rebranding yourself. You are literally starting from the ground up over again. Like, you are in control. And it is going to be really challenging because you're so used to like schedule, not even that, but PT, and it's all type of, like other things that are going on in your mind and going on within your body. Like take time, like if you can explore and just, ultimately like just focus on becoming a new you, a better version, of you, and whatever that entails. Like everybody experience is definitely going to be different for sure.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
self
I like that.
is important, because even though I had got out and I had a job, I lost myself in the midst of all of that. I went through so much my first year being out the military, between mental health and just PTSD. Like ultimately for a couple of months I was waking up past 6:30 panicking. Oh, I'm supposed to be at PT. That I don't care. Failure to report. Hold up, wait. You're not even in the army no
You're
more.
not
What are
even
you
in the
doing?
room.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you're tripping. What are you doing?
Oh, God.
Self. And for
Yeah.
those who are not med boarding and are getting out, your claims, man, get on your, when it comes to that, like you have to focus on that, because the military is going to use you up and wash you up. And once you're done, you're just a number. They don't care. You are a DOD number. And once they're done with you, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. I stand firm on what I'm about to say. Use them how they used you. That is really,
Yeah.
really, really important. Because once that tie is cut, there's nothing else that they can do for you. And then what? You're stuck. You're there with a face, with nothing, trying to figure out what you're gonna do and what's next. That's just what it is. So self. That's, if you don't take nothing else from this episode, you take self. Me. Always choose you. Always put you first. Self.
It starts with you. I said that. So I haven't dropped it yet, but the last episode was actually on mental health.
Yeah.
And I said that
I
a
should have
lot
been
of
on that
times.
one.
I said a lot of times people kind of focus on everybody around them. Like, oh, I need a whole bunch of people around them. Like, do you remember how many people used to hang out with in the military? Just people. You just got people around. You don't even fool with them people. You don't fool with them, and they sure don't fool with you.
I beg to differ with that a little bit, because even though you have like this hard type shell, you have this hard exterior or whatever, deep down inside, you're really not like that. But I feel like that goes along too with the stigma of how you gotta be while you're in the military, when you're holding rank and all this other stuff, because you are really a nurturing person. And you don't give yourself enough credit when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, regardless of what Uncle Sam said, you're feeding the community. You were picky about who you were feeding or whatever, but you took care of a lot of people ultimately. Like, yeah, I cooked and I got a lot, because that mac and cheese fire. Yeah. Pull up, get a plate, dip on the out, and that just be what it is. But you took care of a lot of people. You associated because you cared about people, and you wanted the best for a lot of people, and they may not have seen that in that moment, but what's for them is for them, and what's for you is for you.
Period. And that's that. Because what's for me is gonna be for me
The
at the end of the day,
fuck?
bro. You see, she won't let me live that down. I don't even know where that came from, bro.
I don't know, but
know.
you used to just be ghetto.
I used to just
Oh, it came from Rio.
Rio was her son. You see, so I'm glad that we came full circle with that, all the way back to the beginning. We came full circle with that. But I think that if you don't take anything from this, just like she said, self is important. Mental health is important. Whatever type of transition, even if it's not from the military, if you are transitioning into another role or transitioning to another part of your life, still focus on you. Still focus on what makes a better you, because you cannot push out something that you don't have. It's not possible. And if you do, you're going to lose yourself. So,
Facts. I stand firm on that.
Don't forget, every Monday, a new episode drops. This is not the last time that you will be seeing Anisha Nicole. Believe me when I say that, period. And we just thank you guys for tuning in. This episode is an hour long. So we could just talk. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you guys later. Bye.